right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 268 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh, and today we have a really great house over at Northwest Dallas at 3708 Northview Lane.
And in our second segment today, we're going to talk about Real Estate Terms 101.
That's a lot, but it won't be too much, and there will be no pop
Yeah.
quiz afterwards.
Right. We're going to make this into like a 3 or 4 part series in our second segments because one's a lot.
One is a lot. So, the other thing too that we would like to share, we've done a couple of different things this year. I guess is the way I'd look at it, is looking at different things that are happening in Dallas and in DFW. And this week, we thought we'd share with you where we like to go for native plants and for indoor plants. And these are some very specific ones.
And the first company is called Rooted In, and this is owned by a couple of friends of mine. They're better friends of Weston and Jason, but they have this really cool outdoor space in Pilot Point that has probably every imaginable plant that you could have in North Texas.
And the great thing is they're super knowledgeable. It's owned by a group of guys out of Dallas, and Patrick Dickinson actually went to A&M and has a degree in horticulture. He's also really great at landscape design. The other guys are just as awesome as well. Go out there and take a look. It is worth the drive, and they have excellent products.
And Patrick's done a couple of our shows. He does a lot of stuff on WFAA.
That's right.
On their Good Morning Texas program. So very well respected place. Certainly take a trip out there. Second place that we want to go is, or talk about, is Fibonacci. Fibonacci, am I saying that right?
I believe you are.
Fibonacci Plants, and this is a plant store that is in Deep Ellum that was opened a few months ago by one of our former coworkers, Jeffrey Roberts, who is such a creative guy when it comes to stuff like this. It boggles my mind.
He did a really great job. He has always loved plants. His loft used to just be covered in plants. Decided to turn that into his life after he left us and went into multiple startups. Has an excellent eye for this stuff.
He really does.
And he's just as personal as he can be. The other thing too, I think that he's smart about is he's really gotten involved with the Deep Ellum scene down there. And he also has where you can come in. I don't know if it's always on Saturdays or whatnot, but you can take and buy a plant and buy the pot, and then he's got like rocks and other stuff, and you can plant it there so it is 100% customized for your own place. So he's really thinking outside the box and putting some stuff that make people want to come back over and over. And the next one, have you been to North Haven Gardens lately?
I have been there one time this year.
I love North Haven Gardens. Before the actual tornado hit, they used to have a studio gallery back there where they would have art events, but now it's more, I think that space has been turned into a larger indoor space, and then I think they have a cafe. But this is a really great place to go. This is one of my favorite places to go to get large bags of hollytone. Hollytone is one of the best fertilizers there is for a lot of the potted plants and also for shrubs. It's typically sold in small bags, but there you can get it, I think, in 40-pound bags. It's not cheap, but it is the best stuff, excellent products as well. So lots of great stuff in the area.
Lots of great stuff. We have some really great outdoor plant places here. There's the Callaway's Network, there's the Ruby's downtown, and they've got a location not far from me. I mean, we're really lucky here.
We are, and there are so many, but we just thought we'd pick the ones that are nearest and dear to our hearts. So we hope you enjoy those. Let us know what you think. So this is the point of the show where we're going to talk about what's actually happening in the Dallas market. Over the last 7 days, we're going to strip away all of the hype and just dial this in. And so one of the first statuses that we have inside of MLS is not required, but it's called Coming Soon, and allows other agents and also other buyers who are looking in this area or a specific area for this home, and that's up 18%, which is up 14 homes to 991. And then once we go and active, we're down 4% to 543, which is really a negligible movement. And then option period, this is once that contract has been executed, that's slightly down 2%. Again, the real steady numbers over last week, which is just down 8 homes.
And our pending numbers looked really good. Pending numbers are up 8%. There were 10 more this week than last, so there were 128 pendings. Solds were also up 12%. There were 349 transactions that closed in the last 7 days, and that's up 36 from the week before. Mortgage rates, they've ticked down just a small amount. The average right now on a conventional 30-year mortgage, 7.186%. And we gather that information from a website called Optimal Blue. If you want to look and watch at what mortgage rates are doing, just go to that website. They give you an opportunity to put in, different types of loans, and it's just really good information.
Yeah. If this is something that you're interested in, let us know. We'd be happy to make that happen. There's a lot of great information we can dial down and send it directly to you so you can stay ahead of those areas that you're interested in, and also keep a track on what your neighborhood is doing as well.
Great.
Tell us a little bit about that house, Jeff. Oh, wait. Is that what we're doing next?
Yeah, that's what we're doing next.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. In my head, I jumped a gun. I went somewhere else. Sorry.
So
Squirrel.
the house we're going to talk about today is at 3708 Northview Lane, and this is in Northwest Dallas, zip code 75229, which is one of the great zip codes of Dallas. This is located very conveniently just off of Marsh Lane, south of Forest. You are 2 blocks, well, let me say 3 blocks from the North Haven Trail. All you do, you ride down to Cox, and Cox takes you right down to the North Haven Trail.
That's right. And the other thing, too, is this is a great neighborhood. Commuting north and south is excellent. You have access to both, as Jeff was saying, Marsh, zip over to Midway. That's excellent as well. East and south, you're just south of 635. 635 is excellent from this point because this can take you into, as you see on the map, the north end of DFW Airport, but also getting into Love Field is super simple. Head south, and you almost tee into it directly, which is great.
And if you're going to Fort Worth, let's say that you want to go over there and try some of their art. They have some of the best museums in Fort Worth. This is a super easy express lane connection, almost all the way to the other side, almost all the way to the art district in Fort Worth.
You're 100% right, because I take it quite often when I go over there. But yes, this is a great area, and plus you'll be close to both Jeff and I. We live close to this area. Now, because it is early summer, end of spring, we still want to talk about things that locals love to do in the area, but we're going to take and talk about things that are outdoorsy. And so you almost kind of mentioned the first one. We'll come back to it. But Bachman Lake is just, I get in trouble for saying around the corner because not everything is around the corner. This is down the road from this home. This is a really great lake. It is a small, medium-sized lake. It has really begun, I feel like, to get some love from the local community, even from Dallas itself. And we're seeing like this is home to the Dallas Rowing Club. So if you are interested in this is a great morning exercise, really calm area, lots of parking along the backside, a great way to start your morning.
It really is. And the second thing in the neighborhood that we wanted to talk about was the Brookhaven Country Club. This is just probably 1.5 miles north of you. This has 2 18-hole golf courses. It has a lot of tennis courts. How many pickleball courts does it have?
They have 38 pickleball courts, people.
How many have you played on?
Every stinking one of them. And there's 4 that are inside the barn. They are just now finishing padel courts as well. Did you know that they actually have clay tennis courts there?
Really?
Yeah,
No,
one
I did
indoor,
not.
one outdoor. And then they also have kind of like their version of Top Golf. You do not have to have the golfing package to go and play that, which I think is great. A pool scenario, this is the best thing about the pool. There's an adult only, there's a kids, and there's an infant. And it's amazing how that works itself
Great
out.
separation. And the food is fantastic. We've been
is.
there for lunch a couple of times. It's really, really good. The last thing that we wanted to talk about in this area is North Haven Trail. North Haven Trail is a hike-bike trail that goes from Monroe on the west, which is almost all the way over to Denton Drive. It backs up to all of that commercial there. And you weave your way across basically electricity or utility easements, and it will take you all the way over to Highway 75. And within the last 6 months, they've just opened the bridge over Highway 75, where you immediately connect into the White Rock trails.
The trails now have gotten so long, they are longer than I would actually want to ride, which is amazing. So when you hear people say there's really not that much to do outside in Dallas, these are people who are not familiar with what there is to do. So there's a lot of things that locals are really jumping on and enjoying.
It's only an 18-mile ride round trip on the North Haven Trail from one end to the other.
You said it's only?
It's only, and you can do that in an hour and a half.
No, what?
Oh, we used to do it all the time.
18?
Yeah. Yeah,
I must ride really slow.
Well, I mean, we were averaging. Well, we had David Burns, who was really a fast rider that kind of kept the pace up. But
That makes
you know, if
sense.
you're doing 10 to 12 miles an hour, you know you can cover 10 to 12 miles in an hour. So, but it's a great trail.
It is a great trail. It is, and
Okay, sorry, dwelling on
Well,
that.
there we go. All right, so let's jump into this listing that we want to talk about. It is 3708 Northview Lane, Dallas, Texas 75229.
And this owner's had a lot of work done to this over the course of their ownership. It was fully renovated in 2015. It has an amazing drive up. I love how they've taken and poured the concrete pads that create a more modern environment from the curb all the way to the front door.
I also pointed out that they are oversized, so you can have 2 or 3 people walk down simultaneously, which I think is extremely important. As you walk in, you're going to realize he has done a lot of the cosmetic and also the heavy lifting as well. The homeowner that actually gets this home is going to be a very lucky person indeed because of how much love and attention has been paid to it. Throughout this home, the floors are consistent. That is one of the biggest things that actually really helps a house have continuity throughout. And as you can see, this is your first seating area. This would be considered a front formal area. And then as it opens up, you can see you have a lot of area for a dining room. He has a small dining room table, but that dining room table actually expands and he can add 4 more chairs to it very, very comfortably.
And you'll notice there's can lighting has been done in a lot of these, in a lot of the rooms, which really modernizes it a bit. Great light with the bay window. I think plantation shutters sometimes darken a room, but even with these, you still get such great natural light. And I love that he has painted like one wall that's kind of his accent wall, but it's still not so far off that it just yells at you.
So it is a very symmetrical room. It works really well. I like the fact that as we were looking at this the other day, this portion of this living room has more of an enclosed feeling. The coziness, as you can see here with the fireplace, but that really allows for you to be, whether it's watching TV on Saturday or in the movies. But then as you begin to see here, this home is going to open up in the second half of this room with all of the windows that are closer and in the kitchen. And this really is a great place for that light to be because that's where you're working, you're entertaining. Plus, as you see later on, you're looking at some really special resort style backyard features.
Yeah, and this kitchen is done very, very smartly. It's done on with use in mind. I don't think it was just done to look good because plenty of room in the kitchen for multiple people to be working. You've got your dishwasher right there by the sink. Right behind you is the gas cooktop. And just out of the frame to the left of this is where your refrigerator is.
And whoever helped him with this kitchen remodel took into consideration the proximity of the kitchen island to the back burner. Sometimes they get a little bit too close and makes it where it's a one-man kitchen. This actually is perfect for 2 people to be working. I like that they really thought out the kitchen cabinets as well. And this home has 3 bedrooms. The secondary bedrooms are on the front of the house and are connected with a Jack and Jill. This is that first bedroom, great size. Again, we see that the wood floors are here. They also have ceiling fans in each one of the rooms. And this is looking in from that Jack and Jill into that second bedroom.
Yeah, this was done very, very nicely. I love the tile that they've chosen. You got the frameless glass on the shower. This bedroom is really, I mean, it's much larger than it appears. That's a king size bed. Plus you've got room for the couch. Plus you've got room for the dresser over here on the left. It's big.
It is a big room. And then when you go to the other side of the house, and this is the back, this is the large master, again, queen size bed, 2 large end tables. And then you have access to the backyard, which I think is really important. A lot of buyers want that. They want to go in, out, and have a really simple way. This is a renovated master bathroom. As you can see, it's really clean with the step-in tub shower combination, glass tile subway. Large closet. I think they were really smart in the way that they kept a portion of the closet but then expanded. It all begins to make sense. It's a really easy, quick use. If you are looking for a house that is move-in ready with elements, HVAC has been replaced, hot water has been replaced, this is the kind of stuff that makes life so much easier.
And it's got a laundry room, not just a closet, but a laundry room with storage for your brooms and mops and all of that. And this is a kind of a mudroom area right before you go out into the garage. This is the backyard, which I think is just spectacular.
So we're going to start at the back of the picture. We've got 8-foot board on board cedar fence that has been saying also has a cap. There is mature plants that have been put around to create privacy. There's also, you can't see in this photo, but there's a sliding gate to provide privacy as you pull around and park back here. And the rest of this is just so amazing.
There's a huge, just to the left, you could see the wisteria there. That was such a beautiful addition to the property. It's right behind the two loungers that you see. And this is the pool hot tub combo with the fountains in both.
And he also actually ran a gas line out to the grill. So this is a complete resort style backyard. A lot of extra space as well. Many times something this grand doesn't have any green space left. This has plenty, whether it's for 2 or 4-legged little ones. It is perfect, secure, and private.
And so this is 3708 Northview Lane. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage built in 1959. It's 1990 square feet according to appraiser, and it's priced at $740,000, which brings it in at $376 a square foot.
So click on the link in the comments below. You'll actually be able to go directly to this, take a look at the images, scroll in and out of that map. If you'd like to see it, just let us know and we'd be happy to make that happen.
And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you miss the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second segment, episode 268, Sold with Updike Pugh. I am Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today you're headed back to college because we're going to talk a little bit about Real Estate Terms 101, understanding terminology. This is really important. You need to know these things. Your realtor will help and guide you, but understanding these things will help when just regular conversations are being had. And there are times when the real estate contract moves pretty quickly, and so getting a little bit head start on some of these things cannot hurt.
One of the things I've always tried to do is be mindful of using industry TLAs.
Yep, and acronyms.
3-letter acronyms, TLAs.
Starts already.
We just, I feel like in many industries that you do get into that habit of using that. When we're talking to other realtors, we will do that, but I think we both try to be mindful when talking to people about what's going on, that they only go through a real estate transaction every 7 to 9 years, and so in that 7 to 9 year period, things are going to change, contracts are going to change, terms are going to change. So.
And we blast through these things. So we're going to do these alphabetically, and so this today is going to be A through E, and this is really gentle.
A through E.
A through E, right?
We are doing them alphabetically, but I don't know that there's like an A and a B and a C and a D.
There's
no C and D.
There's no C and D, and that's an E, so that's A through E. A through E. And the first one, annexation.
Tell us about it.
So annexation is an interesting element. So you can be outside the city limits, and that typically means you're on well water, I would assume, given that Texas, my parents were not part of Weatherford, and so therefore they had their well. Once they were annexed, that changed, and they had the ability to opt into that. There were a couple of other things that changed, not always for the better, because at that point there's infrastructure elements that sometimes can get added.
And then you get city taxation.
That is the big
Yeah.
one. You can be outside and you can be hunky-dory, and all of a sudden your escrow could be short.
So if you are considering a property that is that is not in a city or a township, but it's just really controlled by the county, before you buy it, you may want to check with every municipality around it and find out if there are any plans, even any 20-year plans for annexation of that property. Not to say you shouldn't buy it over that, but it's a piece of information you need.
100%. It should be something that you use knowing it could be a future element. So the other thing too is an appraisal. This one comes up all the time. Annexation, not so much. Appraisal is always going to come up unless you're a cash buyer and you're not requiring an appraisal. But the appraisal is really when the buyer that comes to your property has the lender send out and evaluate, make sure that we're within the scope of pricing. But what's really interesting, we've seen a lot lately, is that there's so much data out there that they always don't have to send the true appraiser out there.
Yeah.
And they get a table waiver, which is really interesting. Is that right? Table waiver?
It's a appraisal waiver,
Appraisal waiver.
which it really allows the buyer to choose whether they want an appraisal or not.
That's true.
That is, it's totally up to the buyer if they want to, but the lender feels confident enough that the borrower is strong enough and that the property is strong enough from a value perspective that there's just not the need for that in there.
And this is what would be considered a traditional cost to a buyer.
It would.
Yep.
It would. The third term we wanted to talk about is brokers. And, the state of Texas, you have sales associate licensees, and then you have brokers. There is a difference between the two. The primary difference is that if you have a sales associate's license, you have to have a broker sponsor you. If you have a broker's license, then you are able to go out and hang your shingle on your own and sponsor licensees if you want.
Hang your shingle on your own.
Haven't you heard that term?
Nope. Have
Okay.
not.
Anyway.
Nice acronym.
No acronym. One of the other things that I wanted to point out about brokers is brokers also have an enhanced learning requirement. So there are, oh my gosh, I think you need an additional 270 hours, I think, to be a broker. Plus, now to qualify, you have to document that you've had so many transactions of each type of transaction that you'd specialize in.
I think that's good.
do
I
too.
think that the agent that hasn't had their license more than a year that turns around and then becomes a broker, I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
That's like saying that someone who suddenly is a plumber after 6 months is now a master plumber. I struggle a little bit with that.
Yeah. And the last term that we want to talk about is environmental concerns. And environmental concerns really breaks down into a lot of different categories. Number one breaks down just into general and talking about how the environmental conditions of a piece of property might change over the course of its ownership. We have never had to deal with radon inspections in Texas, but my understanding is that that's going to become more prevalent here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing too that we see a lot, and it's indicative of the age of the home, is a lead-based paint. So lead-based paint, if it's before 1968, 78, you've got to have this amendment that it ties to with it. Typically a house, even if it's been completely remodeled and it's built prior to that, you're still going to have this attached to it. Well, I think in the entire time that I've been in real estate, I think we tested it once, and we scraped, sent it off for a sample, and it came back with no lead. So just because it was built inside of the era that it could be used doesn't mean that the house is going to have it. I think that that's a little bit of a misnomer that it's out there. Sometimes other environmental things that could happen is water. I think here in Texas, if you're on a lake, if you're near a creek or whatnot, that can change quite a bit, and that could be an environmental element that you need to be made aware of. And again, there's going to be documentation that you're going to sign that is going to help notify you and also make sure that you're aware.
Yeah. So we hope you found all this helpful today. If there are any other terms you want us to define right away, just put them in the comments below. We'll be happy to do that.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.